Magic Conj, will I ever get to meet Tom Kenny?
Maybe someday.
Oh, so you're saying there's a chance. Okay. Should I tell fans of the show how they can support us?
Yes.
Goofy Goobers, supporting the show is shockingly easier than catching a blue jellyfish. Right from our Anchor page, anchor.fm/SpongePod, you can find links to all of our social media and a support button if you happen to have a few extra clams. Also follow us on mixer.com/SpongePodSquareCast, where it's not only the official home to our sister show, Video Bob Game Pants, it's also where I stream live drawings of various Nickelodeon characters and host the opportunity for commissions and giveaways. Lastly, the official merchandise store is now open at redbubble.com/people/SpongePod, where various designs will be uploaded inspired by our show, including our official logo, which is now available on a multitude of products like t-shirts, stickers, duvet covers, and even a shower curtain. This is a podcast by a fan, for fans, and will always be fan-driven. Any way you see fit on supporting our show is much appreciated. Thank you, and enjoy. Ahoy, mateys, and welcome to another episode of I'm Ready, a SpongePod Squarecast. We're continuing on in Season 1, and we're going to watch an episode called Hall Monitor today. But before we get there, I'm obviously speaking too loud. Volume is up too high.
Well, no, it's actually just that introduction.
What? Who are you? Ah! Intruder!
We listened to that like 5 times tonight, and it explodes my eardrums every time. I had to turn the gain down.
You're the open window maniac. I left my windows open.
This is the second floor. I'm not that tall.
No, but you see an open window, you just jump for it. I have Alex Blazik back on the show.
Hi.
Woo! Probably a frequent regular. Because if you don't know, there's like 500 episodes of SpongeBob. To be fair, there's not that many episodes, but to like imagine doing this show if it was The Simpsons.
Yeah.
There'd be no
end to it.
Well, especially with the way I record. I'm not recording weekly and releasing weekly. My schedule, I have said I'm going to fix that as time goes on and more stuff's happening.
Yeah, but shit happens.
Yeah.
Shit gets tough.
What are you doing? I got to put dolphin noises in the...
So put dolphin noises in there.
It's more work for me.
All right, I won't say shit.
So I just did my first live stream, and to promote that out there, I believe on Mixer, if you look up SpongePod, we're on there because Mixer. I wish I could throw the whole name of the show, and then on Twitch it's under my gamer tag. I'm going to release now, but nobody's gonna look me up. McCheese and Cakes. That's probably gonna switch over, and I did it. Obviously, the show in the future might go. I might live stream episodes. The video game portion, Video Bob Game Pants, is going to be on there. But I did a live stream drawing, and the anxiety going on of like when you're live, you gotta keep talking.
Yeah, you can't just stop.
No wonder there's streamers out there who make mistakes or say
Right.
things that they are super off color.
Yeah, plus you have tons of YouTubers that switched over to streaming and they're boring.
Yeah, streaming is boring. Because what was going through my head while I was drawing, there was like moments where I was quiet, and I'm thinking like, what if someone just came in now?
Right.
Instantly. The one thing though, I don't know if you saw that. I mean, you saw this, but there's somebody I personally know who prides themselves in streaming, and they were like beyond impressed that the camera I had for my face was in the porthole.
Yeah.
They were like, how did you get the camera to be circular? What did you do?
Well, yeah, OBS is kind of hard to navigate for some people.
No. Well, if you know how to make, what your template is looking like,
Yeah.
you're putting the cameras behind it.
Yeah.
So the camera's still a rectangle.
Yeah.
It's just
behind a picture.
Yeah, I put it behind I made a PNG in Photoshop with a circle. And I was like, buddy, it's how you made the one with rectangles? He's like, yeah. I'm like, just do it a circle.
Right.
Next time. And I literally, I thought of that mere, like, like I was gonna go on in 10 minutes, and I'm like, oh, this still looks boring. How do I SpongeBob it up? Oh, I could speak through a porthole and
Right.
add rope around the main picture. But yeah, so much anxiety. Now, I know last time you were on, we talked about us growing up and things that we're on. Um, what is the most, like, when I say nostalgia to you? What's the one thing that comes to mind? Like, what is your earliest
Uh,
media that you can think of? Movie, game?
oh, I'm not really sure because a lot of my early memories are all mixed up.
Yeah.
Probably the earliest media I can think of is watching Transformers on Saturday morning while eating cereal in front of the TV.
The original Transformers or whatever one was
Yeah,
on
the
at
original
time?
Transformers cartoon.
The 80s one.
Yeah, it was rerun in the mornings, I think, on either WB or Fox or something.
Yeah, one of those. Which I think the whole idea of Saturday morning cartoons is completely over.
Which
don't
is
think
which is fine because I'm not up on Saturday mornings anyway.
No, but when we were growing up, that was definitely
The thing.
Fox Kids and then
Yeah.
Fox Box and WB Kids.
That's what got me out of bed in the morning and the weekends.
Yeah, watching new episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon or
I don't think I was into anime at that point in time in my life. You got me into anime, I'm pretty sure.
I think you got me. You would watch Toonami. You got me into anime. You
Well,
got me
I know
into
I got
Cowboy
into
Bebop.
anime Toonami, but we were friends at that point in time as well. So
I think you watched. If you're gonna say that I got you into anime, then it was definitely like
it's
my entry level was a small hole, and then like a week later you showed back up, and you're like, hey, look at this hole now.
yeah. I think
'Cause
we
I
did
think
that
you
to
got
each other
into it.
though.
That's
Because I mean, I wasn't really into anime. I was into Dragon Ball Z, and I was into whatever was showing on Toonami, and then that expanded from there. And I know you were there the whole time, so in my mind, I got into anime because of you.
oh
And it was definitely because of Shonen Jump, and you were subscribed to Shonen Jump first at the very beginning,
from issue 2.
right? And then you showed it to me, and I was like, "Fuck, I got to do this too." Ooh, more dolphin noises. Isn't that cool?
You already have the record. um. Yeah, because for me, the earliest, like the earliest thing I can think of, even before television, is Sonic the Hedgehog. Like playing that video game in the basement of my original home.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of even watching television in that home. I had to have. I was into Barney and Sesame Street. I definitely had to have been viewing those things, but I don't have a single memory of sitting in that living room in front of that TV watching anything. And the only thing I can remember from that house is um, Easter morning, getting on the oven and taking the giant hollow bunny from the top of the fridge, eating it the entire thing in my room, and my dad coming home like freaking, like it was terrible. And then playing Sonic the Hedgehog in the basement and beating it.
Yeah, I mean,
Me telling my father, and he's like, "No way!" And he went downstairs, and the credits were rolling, and it was like, "Wow."
No, I mean, at that point in time, well, I don't know how early you're talking right now.
This
but
is like 90. This had to have been 93, 94.
All right.
Yeah, I was super young when I.
Yeah, that
when I
was
had
when I
choices.
remember watching Saturday morning cartoons. That was before we knew each other.
Yeah, that was way before we knew each other.
Yeah,
So Transformers is your earliest.
that's
Is
what I
that the
can
thing
think.
you're
That's
most
all I think of.
Fond of, though?
Nope.
Out of all. All right, so out of all nostalgia things you're into, or that you remember, what's the one thing that you'll
My
always
most
be the most fond of?
the thing I'm most fond of consuming media as a child is Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's still going strong too.
Like there was a point in time in middle school that I was grounded for almost the entire time, and my parents only let me watch a half-hour TV a day. I spent that time watching Dragon Ball Z.
That was your Dragon Ball Z time.
Right.
Like if it's got to be for 1/2 hour, it might as well be this one.
Right.
Yeah, and we got that super late from Japan. I mean, when we were like finishing the Cell Saga, they're like, "Oh, that's cute. We're already done."
Right.
We're in the middle of GT,
Yeah.
and we're like, "GT stinks." And they go, "You don't even know what you're talking about yet." SpongeBob. I already mentioned Sonic. It's definitely not the most nostalgic to me. But man, if there was like, not to be corny, but if there was one anchor to my childhood,
Yeah,
It's probably that, or second maybe Rugrats, because I was big into Rugrats before SpongeBob.
I mean, when it comes to American cartoons, my favorite one was SpongeBob.
Yeah. People, I try to promote this anytime I get to, but when anyone wants to talk about Nickelodeon cartoons, I try to bring them back to that time when those first three aired. Ren and Stimpy, Doug, Ren and Stimpy, Rugrats.
Yeah.
Like, that was groundbreaking, because before that, the amount of creator-driven cartoons on television was nothing.
Hmm.
I would say the only thing that was close to it was when they would air Looney Tunes shorts, which were originally all theatrical,
Yeah.
but because those were simply like Chuck Jones, like just do whatever you want, draw
Right.
whatever you want. They
Yeah.
had free range. But yeah, everything throughout the 80s that everyone loves was there to make toys.
Mm.
He-Man famously, if anyone has ever seen the movie Small Soldiers, is basically a play off of He-Man, because literally a toy company had all of these designs for these creatures and people,
Yeah.
and they threw it to creative people. It's like, make a show out of this so we can sell these toys.
Yeah.
And then they created He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Just like created the whole story. This is the
Yeah.
bad guy. These are the good guys. All based off of early toy designs.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I understand why.
yeah, because there was the idea of like making any other money on cartoons. It was like, that is the point of the cartoon,
Right.
to be
make
a
toys.
cash cow.
Yeah.
And to be fair, things are relatively the same,
Yeah.
because SpongeBob, for example, massive merchandise pusher.
Yeah.
Probably under Mickey Mouse, the most merchandised character, I would
'cause
say.
you've even got their houses in your friggin' fish tank.
Yeah, yeah. Think about that. I would put probably Batman up there,
Yeah.
too, as like really marketable.
Mhm.
But there were shows like Fairly Odd Parents got canceled, I think 3 times, and all of it, like, even though it wasn't clicking merchandise-wise, the ratings for it were through the roof.
Yeah.
That every time Nickelodeon made the decision, okay, let's end it, and then they would see the ratings, and it's
Oh,
like,
yeah, I didn't even think about that.
yeah.
Yeah, the same thing happened to a Danny Phantom.
Danny Phantom, no, yes and no, because what had happened was they had made toy designs, like Butch Hartman had showed them off. They were getting ready to push Danny Phantom really huge in terms of merchandise.
Yeah.
And what halted it was Avatar. Is apparently Nickelodeon really wanted to go all the way with one boy-centric
Oh, okay.
idea. So right when they were gearing up Danny Phantom,
So
they
s-
pushed for like
so
Avatar.
They saw
like,
Danny Phantom as competition for what they wanted.
no, they just only wanted to focus on one thing.
Right.
So when they were like, man, Avatar is going to be huge, they put all their money in that basket.
Granted, Avatar was a good fucking show. Ooh, there's
Man.
another dolphin.
If there's ever an episode. Yeah, but even the toys, like Avatar was massive, but the toys didn't push anything. They weren't like a massive. To be fair, Nickelodeon, as far as toys go, they didn't hit a big hit until their Ninja Turtles show. Their first, when they acquired Ninja Turtles, that
Yeah.
CGI show,
Yeah.
which was, in my opinion, I think the overall best Ninja Turtles cartoon ever. Not to go off into a whole other thing, but I just, after the first two, I think that one did a really good job of honoring the other two, but being
Yeah.
original. But yeah, Avatar toys didn't sell that well. And I guess there was even, here's the thing, Butch has this innate ability to, because he has a YouTube channel,
Mm-hmm.
popular, he has this innate ability of dropping hints of things that may have happened and then not going into them into complete detail. So he's got you hooked a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know about this until maybe a year or two ago when he just, in one of his videos, dropped a hint that there were early plans for a Danny Phantom console video game
Mm-hmm.
and has not mentioned it since. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, can you just make a video talking about that? Go
Yeah.
into more detail? What was,
Right.
what studio? What was, he did the same thing in 2006. I believe, I hope that's caught. There was Paramount was developing a theatrical Fairly Odd Parents movie,
Mm-hmm.
2004, 2005. SpongeBob movie did big, so they're like, let's do Fairly Odd Parents. And he has not talked like he's talked about it, but not really. I just want to know like what was the plot? Did it get moved to one of the TV movies? What he's never talked about it in great length.
Yeah, that reminds me of something else too. Is what happened to Tron Ascension?
The Disney show.
No,
The third movie.
The third movie.
Dude, from everything I've read about that, it just seems that Disney is always like pumping the brakes and hitting the gas at the same time with
Yeah.
Tron.
Which
but-
just makes sense.
Some of the producers have said that they think with Disney like going nuts right now, trying to get as much original content on Disney Plus, that the idea of the third Tron movie might be made into a show for Disney Plus.
Which would be fine as
I
long
think
as
that's
it
a good
followed the
idea.
storyline it was originally going to be about.
Yeah. I don't know if they would do it directly after, but it can certainly, I don't know if they would do that after Legacy or continue now, like a couple years
'Cause-
later, how's Korra
yeah.
living in the real world?
Because I want to at least know what happens after. Because the TV show that did release was about the rebellion against.
Right, it was a
Clue.
bit earlier. Like it had Tron before he turned into Rinsler.
Yeah.
Like as a character. I don't know. I liked Legacy, but I also
I just watched it again the other day.
really?
Yeah.
You think it holds up?
Yeah.
I mean Jeff Bridges just knocked it out of the park.
I mean, granted, I love that movie for more than just the movie itself.
I just wish the video game world was a little bit more cornier. Like
do you
I
mean?
know,
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah.
yeah, the computers that they're making, referencing in the 80s of the first Tron, that was pretty good for the time.
Yeah.
So what's that 20 years later? Oh, it looks really nice, really clean, really sleek. I get that. But I want just like corniness with the color and the costumes. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's running on literally the same system it was originally running on.
Right.
It's the same computer that he moved to the basement of his arcade.
Which is a great arcade. We need more arcades like that.
We need any arcades like that.
Yeah.
We don't have we don't have arcades like that
No,
anymore.
I mean, not like that with all classics. There's the bar up in Mass.
yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. There's some places that are.
But it's way up there in Northampton.
What?
It's way up there in Northampton. I never go.
Oh no, that's Prodigy. You're thinking of? In
No,
Northampton.
I'm thinking
the other
of
one's Amherst. We went there for your birthday.
the quarters in
Yeah.
Amherst. No,
Yeah.
that was for Jenny's birthday.
That was a nice place.
Yeah.
Other than the one arcade machine I was able to get the top score on, they didn't even acknowledge, like they didn't have any. They have a board of all the high scores, but I was like, "Hey, I just got first on Marvel vs. Capcom 2," and they're like, "Oh yeah, we don't keep track of that one." Figures.
Nice.
I did the same thing at round one. I got first place, by a large margin.
On
Like-
Ultimate Muscle.
What? No, of Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Oh, okay.
I got Ultimate Muscle, but then people just floored me. But I played my brother in Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and he was like, "Oh, you're too good." And I'm like, "Well, now I have to play until I beat it." And I think I had the picture. I think second place was totally not bragging about this, by the way. Second place was, let's see, 260 million, and I was 640.
Which is a pre-made score.
644 million. First place. Either way, I don't care.
Crazy.
All right. So, the episode we're going to be watching and talking about is Hall Monitor.
Yay.
The Hall Monitor. This episode first aired August 28th, 1999. It is the first part of the 7th episode of SpongeBob SquarePants. Its sister episode is Jellyfish Jam, which we'll talk about in the next episode. And yeah, this show is a little bit more of SpongeBob, and I think it's the first episode that's really in depth in like what happens within the boating school.
Mm-hmm.
Because you already met Mrs. Puff, and like her teaching outside and the driving bar, and this is more of like SpongeBob in school, and him taking the hall monitor uniform home. It's certainly one of the funnier episodes of season 1. So we'll be right back after watching it.
2,000 years later.
I don't know about these things. Hi. So we're back. We just watched that episode. It was pretty funny.
And that was a mic mute issue.
Apparently, I have sensitive headphones.
Bro, that button has like a 3 mil click length.
Yeah, it's not. I don't know. It's never happened, I swear.
I don't know. Maybe you hit it with your shoulder when you took your headphones off.
This episode, Hall Monitor, was written by Chuck Klein, Jay Lender, and Doug Lawrence. Mr. Lawrence. Plankton.
Oh.
That guy, I've never told you. You know that he voiced Filbert on Rocko's Modern Life.
Yeah.
The people listening, if they're the fans of this show have heard me say this to like 15 people already, but
Yes.
he's done that. His writing contributions to SpongeBob is unparalleled. Like he's been doing
he
it
just
since the
wants to be
beginning.
more useful.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as usual, you can follow along with us if you want. I am watching it from Amazon Prime.
I'll point out the memes.
We got a couple of memeable moments in here. Season 1 is full of SpongeBob memes. If that doesn't tell you the quality of the show, I don't know what does. The first 3 seasons have so many memes through them. The only debuts we get in this episode is we actually the 2 officers that talk to Patrick. They actually have names: Officer Johnson and Officer Slugfish.
Johnson and Slugfish.
Johnson and Slugfish. And we also get a few more of SpongeBob's classmates, which I'm not going to name because I don't want to go. I don't want to do it.
They just randomly give a certain amount of them names, but not all of them.
I think the ones that appear more often, like Jimmy Gus. There you go. I named one. He's the green fish with the purple shirt. So if you want to watch along with us, you can. I totally skipped the SpongeBob intro, but you can start it right now. And Hall Monitor just popped up on the screen. First thoughts of this episode, because you probably haven't seen it in a long
I haven't seen
time.
it in a long time. No, I forgot about most of it.
Still holds up, right? Like
It always holds up.
yeah, this is some. It's incredible how well this show holds up. On such a incredible.
I like how that orange fish is like always sleeping.
Most of the class is sleeping, and Mrs. Puff seems to not care.
Yeah, at least 2.
She, of course, when she goes through the list of hall monitors, lists a few names. She lists a few names: Bart, Jimmy, Tina, Ralph, Beth, Mimi, Buddy, and then SpongeBob, whose name is written in red, other than black,
Yeah,
like
and
everyone
as
else.
he's scooting across the floor, this episode goes into like horror movie style, which happens like twice in this episode.
Mrs. Puff is also shouting out other names right here, including Phil, Henry, Vera, and Clayton, who are not on the list, obviously. Now, here's something I never caught before, and this is why one of the reasons I love doing this show. She's, of course, worried about SpongeBob being hall monitor.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of his speech, when the day is done, SpongeBob says, I overdid it on the speech again, right?
Yeah.
And she agrees to it, which means he has been selected at least once before, did the same exact...
Got that one.
I'm so glad that happened. I'm not even going to dolphin noise that. That's family friendly. That definitely showed up. I'm gonna have so much fun with that. That means he's done the whole speech thing before and it didn't go through. So why was she so worried? Maybe she didn't think he would do this speech again.
She got a good nap.
Yeah. The speech.
Hall monitor.
The speech. He says, friends, students, juvenile delinquents. He brings it up as like the greatest hall monitor of all time. It's actually a play. It's a parody of Mark Antony's Friends, Romans, Countrymen from Shakespeare's Julius Caesar. And of course, the music that plays in the background is Pomp and Circumstance, which about like 95% of the people in this country would probably go, "Oh, that's the graduation theme song," and the other 5% of people would go, "No, that is the theme song for Macho Man Randy Savage."
I don't know that.
See, you didn't. See,
Yeah.
you're part of the 95. It's okay. When I was walking a graduation, I'm just just in line, like, oh yeah, just the entire walk throughout the arena there. Um, yeah, so we didn't have hall monitors at any of the schools we attended. As far as like student,
Well, yeah, there's no student hall
there was no
monitors.
student hall monitors.
There's hardly any real hall monitors anyway.
Yeah, there was just
I don't remember ever
resource
running into
officer.
any of them.
What?
Like even when I got hall passes, I never had to show any to anybody.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the only person in the schools we went to, we all three schools had a school resource officer, which member of the police department. For anybody out there listening who doesn't get what that is, all of the schools in our town, one member of the police department would be designated as the school resource officer.
Yeah, it was always the same guy who lived behind my house.
Yeah, he got moved when we were in elementary school. He got moved to the middle school.
And then to the high school.
And then got moved to the high school. It was
With
almost like
us.
he was purposely following
Yeah.
us.
My dad was a cop too and knew him and didn't like the guy.
You told me that. There was actually shocking, like in our, because we live on the same street. My mother still lives where your mother lives, and we don't live on that street anymore.
Yeah.
But within like a block, we had 3 police officers.
Yep.
From the Enfield Police Department. But yeah, so we got SpongeBob out here pretending to be a police officer. He just wrecked traffic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't been paying attention.
So now people are eating food, and I got to teach them a lesson. I'm just going to jump into their window and tell them they shouldn't keep their windows open.
My soup.
It's seaweed medley. Come on. Hopefully that teaches you a lesson.
This episode's also a good example of SpongeBob's hammer space.
His what?
His hammer space.
What's the hammer space?
Hammer space. It's you know how in cartoons and other things where they just pull objects out of magical space?
Yes.
And mostly
yes.
it's hammers.
Yeah.
Well, SpongeBob pulls out his mask from hammer space and pulls out
The 2 walkie-talkies.
2 walkie-talkies
Yeah.
and this pad and pen that he's going to pull out in a second.
It's it always bothers me. Patrick's eyebrows in the first season, they look like they're furry a little bit.
Yeah.
But then those show up in a few episodes in season 2, but at some point, and I'm hoping to point it out through this podcast, but they tightened those things up to like the straight black ones that he has now. The thick Z's. I don't know why. Definitely the thick Z's fit better for eyebrows, but those it's so off-putting. But he's also just so adorable that I can't. It's Patrick still. You can't hate that guy. When he's
Arm yourselves with knowledge.
when he's barking the news, it's got a high-pitched voice like this. Arm yourselves with knowledge. I love that. I love it. You need a symbol of your authority. I like how he calls him a deputy because that is a sheriff thing. Like if you're an actual sheriff, you can appoint anybody as a deputy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever saw this, but there was this town. I don't know the town in America, but they were doing tests with the police department for something emergencies that could happen at the school.
Yep.
And they had a deputy there helping out with the drills, and it was Deputy Steven Seagal.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking
I know
about?
what you're talking about, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Here we see a generic ice cream place.
Steven is a police officer now.
Is he what?
He has his own show like Cops. That's what he does between movies these days.
Really?
He's a cop.
There was another celebrity I heard that became a bail bond like bounty hunter. I don't know who it was, but it was somebody not like on the A-list level. It wasn't like Justin Timberlake, because now it was somebody who is still well known, but I can't think of the name.
I don't know if you're talking about Dan Blazarian, are you?
I don't know who that is. Celebrity bounty hunter.
There's a
Of course, Dwayne Chapman is the first person to come up. Come on now. I know that dog is a bounty hunter.
there's a police office in Arizona, I think, in a town that basically turned deputizing celebrities into a business. I forgot what it was for, but that's what they do. That's how Dan Blazarian became a deputized police officer.
Okay. I think I just. Oh my goodness! I think I just answered my own question, and I definitely.
Didn't realize.
No, I definitely built it up that it was somebody way more famous. In my world, it was somebody that when I heard this, I was like, "Oh my God, that's amazing!" Um, but it's a wrestler named Steve Blackman.
Okay.
Now,
I don't even know who that is.
yeah, during the Attitude Era, he was he was known as the Lethal Weapon, and
Okay.
his whole thing was he was like a no BS. I'm gonna go out there straight like no smiling or anything. He would just go out there and kick butt. He would just weapons. He was in like the hardcore division.
Hmm.
And as a kid, I was like, this guy's amazing. Like anytime I played No Mercy, if I had anyone that was a hardcore champion, it was Steve Blackman because he was just no joke. So when I like a couple months ago, I heard he was a bounty hunter, and I'm like, oh my God, the Lethal Weapon? No way! Just running around and
Yeah.
drop kicking people. And... Although Dog the Bounty Hunter, I've never seen a drop kick on that show. It's always his sons, and then he comes out of nowhere going like, "Hey, brah, you thought you'd hide, brah? The dog got you." And it's like, no, you didn't. You did. Your team did. You didn't.
Right.
And then he talks him into it. And yeah, good show. So we have Patrick. We have the two officers. Patrick, seeing what the maniac looks like, which is a crude drawing of SpongeBob, which is really funny because it looks like the drawing of him that's on the main logo of the show.
Yeah. I mean, I was. I mean, granted, it's a cartoon, but they had to have known it was SpongeBob. Who else looks like
in
that?
town?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
All
come
of a
on.
sudden, he goes in a juggernaut mode here.
Just,
Puts on a mailbox suit, and all of a sudden, he's freaking juggernaut.
he just goes through and runs and just destroys so many buildings. I also find it funny that just because Mrs. Puff's like, I know the line that incriminates her is "he's my responsibility,"
Right,
but
it really
the fact that you gave him just like I'm the one who gave him the uniform, like, but he's still crashing through buildings dressed as a mailbox. Like, 61 police officers.
that was 61 police officers.
Yeah, I didn't count them. Just thanking our good friends over at the the Encyclopedia SpongeBobia for pointing that out.
I like how all their badges are oversized. Like they're practically t-shirts.
Mrs. Puff wears hair curlers in this episode. Before Life of Crime occurred, Mr. Krabs stole the hair curlers from her, receiving them as a gift. The meme, though, you did promise to point out a meme and you missed it.
Oh yeah.
The
'cause
scene
we're
where Patrick
paying
screams at a
attention.
wanted drawing of SpongeBob became a popular meme. And
There
I
was
also
another one though.
what I
There's
think when
another
he's
one in
going
this
wee
episode.
woo.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's the most memed piece of media we have.
Yep.
110%. And that makes me so happy. Because man, when you get on the bad side of the memers, it's not a good.
No.
You don't add. That was the downfall of some celebrities where they'd put it out there like, "Hey, make some memes. Here's some pictures." And the people are like, "Okay, you want some memes? We'll destroy your career." Raw thoughts on the episode. Like, you rank that up there with some of the best
Well,
of the first 3 seasons. I know later ones you probably didn't see.
I mean, it is one of the most memorable episodes that I can remember.
Yeah.
Although I didn't really remember it by its title. I didn't
Right.
remember it as the episode SpongeBob being the open window
monitor.
bandit.
I gotta say, I don't. Anytime I'm walking and I see like if I'm walking somewhere and I see a police officer standing there, not like a police officer driving by, but if they're walking as well, I always think of Patrick going, "Evening, brothers," and points to the cone. There's stuff like that. People don't understand. There's so much of these early seasons that are so ingrained in my thought process that on a daily basis, I'm thinking of quotes without even possibly realizing it, just
Yep.
out of
Second nature.
instinct. Yeah, it's like, and get that cone off your head. Oh, one of these days. I would love if a police officer in town was a fan of this show, and we can make a little video of that. I just go up to him with a ice cream cone on my head. Yeah, so that's it. I absolutely love the episode. I love that it you get more of that interaction with SpongeBob and Patrick, more visual comedy. Things are a little bit slower. Just you don't need to be constantly talking and constantly energy for there to be humor.
Yeah.
You know, SpongeBob directing traffic but causing a massive accident.
Right.
You don't need talking. It's just people laugh at that. That's funny stuff. And certainly just everything with SpongeBob being the hall monitor, given some responsibility, and seeing him absolutely destroy it is one of the better episodes. I would put this in the top 25, honestly. Given the jokes and given the references, like the police thing I mentioned,
Yeah.
like the maniacs in the mailbox. I used to my ex when we were living together, that was a popular like if she was in the bathroom, I would yell from like downstairs, like the maniacs in the bathroom, and you would hear, "Oh no!" And I can only do that for people that know SpongeBob. If you
Yeah.
yell that, someone just goes, "What?
Right.
What are you talking about? Are you calling me a maniac?" No, that's not what you say. Unless you have anything to plug, you can outro and.
So I didn't catch your live stream last time. I'm gonna try to catch the next one. I'm just
Okay.
working all the
Are
time
you
right
plugging my live stream?
now.
Oh my god.
I'd plug Ginny's, but I don't remember what her username is. She changes it so often. Comfortable pants or something like that. But no, when you were live streaming,
Yes,
did you have anything playing in the background like music?
I did. Is it because let me guess, you saw something that was muted?
No. I just was wondering because you don't really have to worry about like not talking all the time when you have background music.
Well, here's the thing. I had for the first hour, I had episodes of SpongeBob running. I went to Amazon, I threw on episode 1, and I just let it go on autoplay.
Yep.
But so I was using OBS and I was streaming to Restream.io.
Yeah.
Shout out to Restream, quality service. And Mixer wasn't set up yet, although because at that point they were like, "Hey, you still have 10 hours till you get your stream key." So by the time this episode is out, Mixer is set up.
Yeah.
So I was streaming to personal Facebook and Twitch because OBS, you can set it up where OBS streams to both, but you're asking your computer to do a lot.
Yeah, you have to use a restreaming source.
So Restream, just in the quick, because I was doing this like literally an hour before I went on, was like,
Yep.
oh, I should do multiple. So yeah, I was streaming to Restream, and then they were sending the feed to both Facebook and Twitch. So I had the episodes of SpongeBob running. I had Restream's page open to see what the stream looked like, and that it said online for Facebook and Twitch. And then I had both Facebook and Twitch open running the stream so I could read the chats.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, like I said, 45 minutes in, an hour, not that the computer shut off or anything, but there was something going on with the internet. It said like it stopped streaming, and I was like, maybe I was just overloading the computer with so much information. So I restarted it, took my phone off of Wi-Fi and opened that up to the Facebook page so I can read the comments, because that's where a lot of people were coming in. Twitch, I was getting maybe at most I had 5 concurrent viewers. So like that chat, even though I would check in on it. Yeah. So when I restarted it, I had OBS, and then I just had Restream and Twitch open. That's it. And then I was using music from iTunes. I have all the SpongeBob albums. Now, the whole reason I went through that whole thing to tell you is that at some point, I don't know if this is Facebook, but it doesn't want you to stream for more. It seems like an hour and 15 minutes, it would just go like unable to connect for Facebook. And I
Yeah.
would restart the stream, which is good because then it sends the notification out to everybody again, like,
Yeah.
here, Cormier's live. But anytime it would say, like, do you want to save this? And I'd go, sure. It would come back like, hey, there's music in the back. Like, we caught music in the background that's like Sony picked, like it was the
Yeah.
SpongeBob music. But the one time it didn't catch that is I have the actual score of Sponge Out of Water, and I had that playing. And honestly, at some point in the in when the score was playing, they got a lot of sounds for. It just sounds like it was the score by John Debney. It sounds like Pirates of the Caribbean. Like,
Okay,
I
yeah.
remember
mean, yeah,
drawing
that
at
kinda
some
makes sense.
point, and I go, did it complete SpongeBob and go over to another thing? And I went over to iTunes. No, it was still running SpongeBob. I'm like, oh man, all right, well they did that right. It didn't catch any of that score,
Yeah.
so that's music I might just, I don't know, because they were like, hey, we can post your video for the other stuff. Like when it caught, I think it caught like Fun and Shoes Untied. Um, it was like, we can put up your video, but it'll be muted. It's like, whatever. Like, I just don't know how the rules go on Twitch and Mixer. Is if they catch that music in your background, are you playing it? Like, do they just shut your stream down, or
It usually cuts the audio out on your stream, I think.
will it tell you on there? Because nothing ever happened on Twitch. I never got a single notification from them.
Well, I
So-
mean, on Twitch, I think they just you can't. It cancels your stream from reviewing, so you can't like clip it. I don't think, and you can't like review as a person that wants to rewatch that stream on Twitch. I
Yeah.
don't think it'll let you.
Oh my goodness.
So it notifies you that it can't be restreamed. So you have to adjust the audio in that recording so that you can allow it for restreaming, I think.
I understand. In a way, I understand, but it's kind of, I don't know.
Yeah,
I wish there
mean,
could be self-reviews, because it's like they have a system that's just goes, we heard 5 seconds of music with just the music, even though it's like, for me, it's background music for
Yeah.
for drawing.
it's not actually usable for somebody to steal the music from.
Right. So it just seems silly to go through all these
Oh, it's
efforts to stop. Like,
completely
don't
silly.
listen to that, even though you can go on YouTube and,
And
they're
what,
on.
and what they're doing isn't necessarily legal, but they're doing it anyway because the websites allow them to.
Right. So, yeah. So on my streams for drawing, I might make a, because there's a bunch of like the production music for SpongeBob that doesn't seem to be cataloged by any of these studios. So I might just
Yeah.
make a compilation of that and just have that running.
I was going to suggest a couple of bands that sell their music. Well, they don't sell their music; they give it away for free
Yeah.
and
yeah.
stuff like that, so that you can use.
I can even. I'm sure if there's fans, that's. I've always said I want like this show. Will always be like, I want fans to always have a hand in it. There was already, if you listen to the podcasts I released around November or December, there's probably still an ad in there for Anchor reached out and said, hey, do you want to make an ad for getting shelter pets? I was like, sure. Like it's free. Like there was no monetary value, but they're like, hey, have this running during the holidays.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, that's so perfect to get Gary Come Home, Gary song to
Mhm.
play.
Yep.
But I wanted a the music, just the music, no lyrics or anything. So I found somebody on YouTube who made like a MIDI track for it, and I found his Twitter and I reached out to him like, hey, can I use this? I'll send you the ad. And he was like,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And he was wonderful to speak to. And that right there is like, hey, I'll give you credit in the podcast or in the thing, which I believe I did. But that right there is the collaboration of stuff I hope just continues in the future. So I hope like over time this gets bigger in the SpongeBob community. Fans will reach out and go, hey, I made this, I made that. Like then during those live streams, it's like I can just use
Yeah,
fan music that
right.
they've made. Like, and so that's what I hope is the revolving door of this show. But yeah, I ran into those issues and it was a slight annoyance, but at the same time I get it, but it's annoying.
It's always annoying. That's one of the biggest things.
I believe
of streaming.
also from this episode, and I'll just tell anybody listening, I have mentioned many times in the past that when I am ready to do the first stream of Video Bob Game Pants, I am pretty close to it. Like we're we're recording episode 15 right now, or 16 actually, with Hall Monitor, and there's only like 6 or 7 episodes until Nicktoons Racing comes out, and I'll
Yep.
be doing the PS1, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color streams of that. I'll do the streams of each game separately. So please follow. I'll plug myself. Please follow us on Instagram at SpongeBob Podcast. Very short and sweet. You can find us on Facebook. And of course, once that first date for that big video game stream comes, I'll be promoting as much as I can about it. So, all right. You said you don't remember Ginny's name, but you'll give it to me after. I'll just put it in the. I'll plug it in the
Yeah.
description.
Mm.
Make sure we get that right. So
Yeah.
follow Ginny, our friend. And do you want to take us out with what's a good pirate ending? I always have people. I don't have an actual outro for this. Like all of my efforts in the intro. Ahoy, mateys! That's what I dropped. So why don't you? Ahoy is also goodbye.
Is it?
I don't
I mean,
know what's the pirate goodbye.
There is no pirate goodbye. Well, actually, there probably is, but I don't know.
No, we're gonna look it up. Pirate goodbye. This is the outro right here. Is us talking. Ahoy! So give us a good ahoy, mateys, at the end, like a good pirate. I want you to sound like
Ahoy, ahoy, mateys! This is the end of the podcast. I guess.
Arr.
Yeah.